You know those moments in WWE when you can't decide whether to laugh, cringe, or just hide your face behind a pillow? The moments so awkward that even the wrestlers wish the cameras weren't rolling? Well, today, we're diving straight into that glorious disaster zone. From chair shots that wouldn't hurt a toddler, to promos so bad you start questioning if English was the first language. These are the moments that prove not every night in WWE is WrestleMania. Sometimes it's a blooper reel you can't look away from. Yeah, that's about as smooth as sandpaper. Consider this your warning. We're diving into some of the worst acting moments in WWE history. You usually wouldn't put The Undertaker and bad performance in the same sentence, but even the Phenom wasn't immune to the occasional slip-up. After Kane's debut, the Big Red Machine spent months tormenting his older brother. The storyline was dark, intense, and then it got unintentionally hilarious. On one episode of Raw, Kane and Paul Bearer dug up the caskets of their storyline parents. Kane even chokeslammed The Undertaker into one of them. Sounds brutal, right? Except, the seriousness took a nosedive when fans caught Undertaker casually fixing his shirt mid-bump, making sure no stomach was showing. Hey, if you're going down, you might as well look good doing it. Dean Ambrose, now known as Jon Moxley, was effortlessly cool, but not immune to the occasional awkward moment. At SummerSlam 2016, Ziggler superkicked him outside the ring, and Ambrose sold it like he had his own unique idea of what selling means. Remember how he reacted to Seth Rollins' curb stomp? Yeah, same energy. Hulk Hogan is one of wrestling's biggest icons. The man could fire up a crowd, drop a leg, and cut a fiery promo like nobody's business. But when it came to swinging a steel chair, let's just say, the Hulkster wasn't exactly a hardcore assassin. On an episode of WCW Nitro, Hogan grabbed a folding chair to attack the Giant, and fans were ready for carnage. What they got instead looked more like Hogan was gently tucking the Giant into bed. He didn't swing it with force, didn't even give it a solid whack. No, this was a polite tap on the head, the kind of hit you'd expect from someone asking, "You awake, brother?" The Giant sold it anyway, but the crowd could clearly see there was more danger in a mosquito bite than that chair shot. Fast forward to WWE Judgment Day 2002, Hogan is facing The Undertaker for the Undisputed Championship. The grand finale was supposed to be simple. Undertaker hits a big chokeslam, pins Hogan, and crowd reacts, end of story. But Hogan, for some reason, forgot how to actually take the move. Instead of going up and coming down with impact, he awkwardly flopped like someone trying to sit down in a chair that isn't there. The move looked so weak, so unconvincing, that WWE didn't just move on. They practically scrubbed it from history. You won't see that finish in highlight reels, DVD packages, or anniversary specials. It's in the WWE vault next to all the other we don't talk about this moments. At least Hogan remembered a finish existed. In 2014, Rusev faced the Great Khali on Raw. The plan was simple. Rusev locks in his devastating submission. The accolade, Khali taps out, Rusev wins. Except Khali didn't tap out. He didn't move. He just stood there. Or more accurately, stood still. Rusev kept applying pressure. The crowd was confused, and eventually the referee had to lean in and tell Khali, "You're supposed to tap now." So Khali finally slapped the mat, but by then the moment had gone from intimidating to flat-out comedy. The accolade didn't look like it hurt. It looked like a yoga stretch Khali forgot to exit. Referee forgets the rules. Botches aren't just for wrestlers. Referees have their moments too. In 2013, during a mixed tag match with AJ Lee and Big E facing Natalya and the Great Khali, the ending was crystal clear. Natalya locks AJ Lee in the sharpshooter. AJ taps. Match over. But the referee just stood there. He saw the tap out, looked directly at it, and nothing. No bell, no signal, no ending. The wrestlers had to awkwardly reset the spot and do it all again so the ref could remember the match rules. Somewhere NFL officials were watching and thinking, hey, we could hire this guy. Brock Lesnar's promo disaster. Brock Lesnar's a freak athlete, a wrestling machine, a man who can suplex someone into next week. But a silver-tongued talker? Not so much. After losing to Kurt Angle at SummerSlam 2003, in a rematch from their legendary WrestleMania bout, Brock grabbed the mic to send a message. He looked intense, the crowd was on edge. Then he said, "I never tapped out. It never happened." Well, okay. It happened, but it didn't happen. In that moment, the aura of unstoppable beast slipped into guy who doesn't know how time works. Paul Heyman has been speaking for Brock for decades for a reason, because Heyman has never accidentally cut a promo that cancels itself out halfway through. JBL's clothesline from hell oversell. The clothesline from hell is supposed to look devastating, a lariat that could knock your teeth into the cheap seats. JBL's version was feared, until Heath Slater got hold of it. When Slater took the move, he didn't just sell it. He launched himself halfway into orbit. He flung his body so dramatically it looked like JBL's arm contained jet propulsion. The problem? It crossed the line from powerful no to Looney Tunes cartoon. Fans were half expecting to see birdies circling Slater's head like an old-school animation. The McMahons can't take a stunner. The Stone Cold Stunner is one of the most famous finishers in wrestling history. Almost everyone has taken one, except the McMahons apparently can't take it right. Vince McMahon's first stunner in 1997 was ugly. He collapsed like a puppet whose strings had been cut. Somehow he managed to make it worse 25 years later, turning it into an uncoordinated tumble that went viral for all the wrong reasons. Linda McMahon? Just as bad. Shane McMahon, the guy who leaps off cages and through tables, still couldn't make the stunner look believable. Oddly enough, the only McMahon who can make it look good is Stephanie, which might be the strangest fact of all. Batista's promo slip-up. Today, Batista is an acclaimed Hollywood actor, but in his WWE days, he wasn't immune to promo mishaps. Before his Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker, he cut a promo meant to hype the brutality of the bout. He wanted to say that weapons were allowed, but instead told the world that weapons were welcomed. The mix-up made it sound like he was inviting steel chairs over for dinner. Fans laughed, memes were born, and Batista's intensity took a slight detour into accidental comedy. Chris Jericho's Royal Rumble botch. At the 2008 Royal Rumble, Chris Jericho faced JBL in a heated grudge match. At one point, Jericho went for his signature running bulldog. Chris Jericho's Royal Rumble botch. At the 2008 Royal Rumble, Chris Jericho faced JBL in a heated grudge match. At one point, Jericho went for his signature running bulldog, except the timing was completely off. Both men awkwardly stopped mid-move, making it painfully obvious they were in a performance rather than a fight. It was one of those moments that WWE quietly buries, because in that instant the suspension of disbelief collapsed like a bad table spot. Finn Balor forgets to kick out. Finn Balor is known for his high-energy offense and crisp timing, but even he can have an off night. In one match, Finn nearly forgot to kick out at 2, forcing the referee to slow the count and giving away the slip-up. The save was there, but it left the crowd wondering if Finn's mind was already in the locker room. Then again, given how often he's booked to lose, maybe he just got used to it. There's a reason the cruiserweight division has a weight limit. Sometimes the physics just don't cooperate. Like the time someone tried a big jump, completely missed, and yet the wrestlers below acted like they got crushed. The Oscar-worthy reactions? Not helping. Bad punches galore. There's an art to throwing believable wrestling punches, and clearly some missed the memo. One guy's punches were so far away from his opponent, you could fit a truck in the gap. And then there's the mystery of the 2-rope ring. Seriously, who approved that? Trish Stratus's embarrassing moment. And finally, Trish Stratus, one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, had a slip-up so awkward it's better watched than described. Let's just say it's proof that even the best can have a moment they wish the cameras had missed.